Isabella Wright was not born into fame or global recognition, but into mountains, snow, and the quiet discipline of early mornings. Growing up in Utah, surrounded by steep ridgelines and winter storms, she developed a relationship with the mountain that went far beyond sport. For her, skiing was not simply about racing. It was about expression, courage, and respect for the forces of nature. From a young age, she understood that the mountain does not yield to ego. It rewards preparation, humility, and bravery. That understanding would later define her sporting spirit. As a child, Isabella did not stand out because she was the loudest or most dramatic athlete. She stood out because she kept going. When training runs were long and temperatures dropped below freezing, she did not complain. When other young skiers grew frustrated after mistakes, she quietly asked for another run. Coaches noticed that while some athletes chased attention, Isabella chased improvement. She was willing to repeat a drill dozens of times until it felt right. That patience became one of her greatest strengths. Alpine skiing, especially downhill and Super G, demands a rare combination of aggression and control. Athletes travel at terrifying speeds, often exceeding what most people experience even in cars. At those speeds, fear is natural. The difference between good skiers and great ones is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Isabella's sporting spirit was built on this principle. She respected fear, but she refused to let it dictate her limits. Each time she stepped into the start gate, she made a silent agreement with herself. Trust your training, commit fully, and do not hesitate. Her early competitions were not always victories. There were races where she finished far from the podium. There were days when she crashed and lay in the snow, staring at the sky, replaying the mistake in her mind. Those moments are the true tests of sporting spirit. It is easy to celebrate when everything goes right. It is much harder to rebuild confidence after disappointment. Isabella chose the harder path repeatedly. Instead of blaming conditions or equipment, she took responsibility, reviewed her performance, and returned stronger. When she earned her place on the U.S. ski team, the environment changed dramatically. The competition was fiercer. The expectations were higher. She was now racing against athletes from skiing powerhouses like Austria and Switzerland, women who had grown up in alpine cultures where skiing is woven into daily life. For some athletes, that level of competition can feel overwhelming. For Isabella, it became motivation. She did not measure herself by reputation. She measured herself by effort. Sporting spirit also reveals itself in how an athlete treats others. Isabella became known among teammates for her supportive nature. Even though alpine skiing is technically an individual sport, team dynamics matter deeply. Travel is long, seasons are exhausting. Emotional support can be as important as physical preparation. She celebrated teammates' successes genuinely, even when she herself was struggling. That generosity of spirit built trust within the team. One of the defining chapters of her sporting spirit came during the journey to the 2022 Winter Olympics. Qualifying for the Olympic Games is a dream, but it is also a pressure unlike any other. The world watches. Every turn is analyzed. Years of work are compressed into a race lasting barely 2 minutes. Many athletes speak of the Olympic start gate as both thrilling and terrifying. Isabella approached it with calm focus. She did not try to create a perfect run in her mind. She focused on the basics: strong start, clear vision, committed turns. Her performance in Beijing, where she finished 7th in the downhill, was more than a result. It was a statement about resilience. She was not the favorite. She was not widely predicted to finish among the top contenders. Yet she attacked the course with confidence and composure. Finishing 7th at the Olympic Games placed her among the elite of her sport. More importantly, it validated the years of disciplined work that few people had seen. Sporting spirit is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you belong. That race demonstrated that she did. After the Olympics, expectations shifted again. Once an athlete achieves a major breakthrough, the challenge becomes consistency. Maintaining hunger after success can be harder than climbing toward it. Isabella's approach remained grounded. She returned to training with the same seriousness she had shown as a teenager. There was no sense of arrival, no belief that she had finished her mission. Instead, she viewed the Olympic result as a foundation. The sporting spirit that carried her there would be required again and again. Injuries and setbacks are inevitable in alpine skiing. The sport is unforgiving. Athletes push their bodies to extremes, absorbing massive forces with every turn. Through physical challenges and the normal wear of competition, Isabella demonstrated another aspect of her spirit: patience in recovery. Rather than rushing back recklessly, she respected the process. Rehabilitation, strength rebuilding, and mental recalibration require humility. Accepting temporary limits while preparing for future strength is one of the most mature qualities an athlete can show. Her style on the course reflects her personality. She skis aggressively, choosing bold lines that maximize speed, yet she maintains technical discipline. Observers often describe her runs as committed. Commitment is central to sporting spirit. Half measures do not succeed in downhill skiing. Hesitation costs time and increases danger. Isabella's willingness to commit fully, even under pressure, speaks to deep trust in her preparation. Beyond competition, she understands the responsibility that comes with visibility. Young athletes look to Olympians for inspiration. Isabella's message has consistently centered on perseverance and authenticity. She does not present success as effortless. She speaks openly about nerves, about mistakes, about the long seasons where improvement feels slow. By doing so, she normalizes struggle as part of growth. That honesty strengthens her influence as a role model. Sporting spirit is often misunderstood as pure intensity. In reality, it also includes balance. Isabella values recovery, mental health, and connection with family and friends. Sustaining a long career requires more than physical strength. It requires emotional grounding. She returns to the mountains not only to compete, but to reconnect with the joy that first brought her to skiing. That joy prevents burnout. It reminds her that beyond rankings and points, she loves the sensation of carving through snow at sunrise. There is also courage in continuing to dream. After reaching the Olympic stage, many athletes feel satisfied, but Isabella continues to set new goals. Podium finishes, championship performances, technical refinement. Ambition, when paired with humility, becomes a powerful force. She does not assume success. She prepares for it daily. Early mornings in the gym, endless travel, meticulous equipment adjustments, these are not glamorous tasks, but they are honestly expressions of her dedication. Perhaps the clearest sign of her sporting spirit is how she responds to comparison. In a world dominated by statistics and social media commentary, athletes are constantly measured against one another. Isabella focuses inward. She tracks her own progress, her own splits, her own consistency. By centering improvement rather than comparison, she preserves confidence. That mental discipline allows her to compete freely, rather than fearfully. As seasons pass, her legacy continues to grow, not only because of results, but because of the example she sets. She demonstrates that bravery is not recklessness. It is preparation meeting opportunity. She shows that setbacks do not define an athlete, responses do. She embodies the idea that excellence is a habit, not a single performance. On race day, when she stands alone in the start gate, there is a stillness before the countdown. In that silence lives every training session, every recovery exercise, every moment of doubt overcome. When the gate opens, she pushes forward without hesitation. That push is the purest symbol of her sporting spirit. It is trust in herself, respect for her competitors, and acceptance of risk all at once. Isabella Wright represents more than speed on snow. She represents persistence shaped by mountains, courage refined by competition, and humility strengthened by experience. Her sporting spirit is not loud or theatrical. It is steady, resilient, and deeply rooted. It is visible in every turn she makes and in every comeback she engineers. And as long as she continues to stand at the top of the mountain, ready to descend once more, that spirit will continue to inspire those who believe that greatness is built one disciplined step at a time.